So let's say you're a doctor or a lawyer or a young person today getting started. Would you hire a financial planner, or what would you do? Hello, hello, hello. Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show, the good news and bad news about money. And we broadcast from beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, where it's either heaven or hell. And right now it's heaven. It's beautiful. It's perfect time of year. But soon it'll be hell. I mean, it's hotter than hell, and literally that. Well, so we have a very important show today. It's a friend of mine for years. As some of you may or may not know, there's a saying that if you have nothing good to say, don't say it. Or if you don't know what you're talking about, don't say it. But my generation is the baby boom generation. So I was getting out of the Marine Corps in 1974. And that's an important date. Not that I was getting out of the Marine Corps, but 1974 was the start of what they call ERISA, Employee Retirement Income Security Act, which today is better known as the 401k or the IRA. In other words, it's a long way of saying the baby boom generation is the first generation without a pension. And what they put us into was a thing called defined contribution pensions, which is a 401k and IRA and things like this. Whereas my parents' generation, they had a defined benefit pension plan, DB versus DC. Defined benefit means you were guaranteed, let's say, $1,000 a month for the rest of your life. The baby boomers don't have that. And today the boomers are now pushing into their late 70s, and they're starting to retire. And the stock market has been boomed up simply because there are so many boomers with their 401ks or IRAs adding money into the mix. But as the boomers start retiring, as you know, the stock market has to come down. Today, we're in what's called the everything bubble. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and real estate, everything's in a bubble because they just pump so much cash into it. So our special guest today is Ron Willoughby, and he comes from that industry, the financial services industry, and he knows more about it from the inside than I ever will. And my concern is, as netted out, I don't think that many of our baby boomers are going to be able to retire. That it's like there was an old, Peanuts cartoon where Lucy held the football and Charlie Brown ran up to the football and she pulled the football away. So just when the boomers think they have a retirement for the rest of their lives, Lucy's going to pull the football away, and these boomers will be homeless because all they have is their house now. So we're in a very serious time. So I'm welcome to the show, Ron Willoughby. And Ron is from the financial services industry, and he's promised me he's going to give us the dirty on it. So Ron, tell us about your background in the financial services, and welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate you having me on. It's good to be here. So I was probably about 30 years on Wall Street, different firms, mostly with high net worth customers. I started pretty much in the early 90s, from the early 90s to about 2015, 2016. But what they did in the industry was they took the way that they treat clients. It used to be commission based. If you're charging the person a commission and his advice isn't working out for you, you're going to be reluctant to keep paying that person commissions. And they went from commission based to fee based. And when they went from commission based to fee based, they created something where it's the only industry on planet Earth where the advisor or any professional of any sort gets paid in perpetuity for some piece of advice that they might have given 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. If I told a person to buy Tesla 15 years ago, or Apple or Google or whatever, I'm getting paid 1.5% on that thing forever and ever and ever, assuming that it stays in their account. So I did exactly that. I had people that were buying Apple, in 2001, 2002, 2003, and they're up, hundreds of percentage points on this thing, thousands of percentage points in some instances. And, if you bought something at split adjusted for $1 and I'm charging you 1%. Well, that's a penny, but now it's $1,000 and I'm getting paid $10. I'm actually getting paid more on an annual basis on that, particular thing, that particular company than that customers paid for the stock in the first place. So it's great. It's a great problem to have as the customer. But the reality is if that customer just simply paid a commission on that thing and decided to hold it, that's something that they need to be able to take into consideration, right? So when I was in the business, I used to like to trade thinly traded oil and gas partnerships. And I could take an oil and gas partnership that was thinly traded, maybe 50,000 shares a day. And if, let's say it was, let's just say for simplicity's sake, it's $10 at the beginning of the year, and you get into October and November. Well, if it's $9, they're going to start selling that thing to harvest the losses. And I would routinely buy things with an intrinsic value of $10, and I'd buy them at $8. And then I'd go ahead and flip out of those things at the beginning of the year. And they would pop right back up after the tax harvesting stopped. And in doing that, I'm able to make the customer 20, 25, 30% in a matter of a couple of months. Now, I can't do it on an unlimited amount of money. They're thinly traded. And if I do it with too much, then the trade stops working. But, the point is that I'm not going to do that, and embed that in a, 1.5% overall fee on your $10 million. But if we've got a relationship where you're saying, hey, Ron, go ahead and find me this trade, I can do that if I'm getting paid on it. And so it takes the motivation from the financial advisor from building on this whole universe of your portfolio to go find me some actual transactions that make sense. And it's not that every financial advisor shouldn't be, charging a flat fee, but it certainly is. It has a time and a place, and it becomes exhausting to the return on the account, especially if you got a down market like what we're probably going to be seeing in some of these things. We've got, an inverted yield curve that it's going to make it really, really hard.
Wait. Ron. You're going way beyond. I don't understand what you just said. So
okay,
back to it. So what is wrong? So you hire a financial planner for your 401k, and the average guy doesn't have one, do they? I mean, if they have a company and the company offers a 401k, does the employee have any contact with the financial advisor?
Some companies will have a financial advisor that will give them advice. A lot of companies don't, and they leave it up to the employee to educate themselves through Fidelity or whoever it is.
Okay, so let's say you're a doctor, a self-employed, a lawyer, somebody self-employed, or you don't have a company 401k, and they hire a financial advisor. What warning would you give that person about the financial advisor? I mean, there's a whole way you can make a lot of money without getting rich,
I think the typical financial advisor on a 401k probably doesn't know very much, and I wouldn't give a lot of credence to some guy on the phone that might have just gotten his securities license. So,
well, the facts are it takes longer for a hairdresser to get a license than a financial planner. So,
Well, Robert, more to the point, I think there's a lot of hairdressers that make more than the financial advisors that are advising on those 401ks. It's not a high paying job. It might sound good, and they get to wear a tie to work sometimes if they want to, but they don't generally know very much. And more importantly, they don't have any history. They don't know the market history. They weren't there, and they're not going to be able to give good advice in bad situations that they've never seen before.
Correct. And so the way they make money is by selling you a stock. Selling Apple stock was a good idea. Man, that's been a good stock. But what you're saying is a lot of times they'll sell something else because the commissions are better.
No, I'm saying that they will get paid. They get paid a flat fee in perpetuity, no matter what happens. So, if you're paying somebody 1.5% flat fee for 20 years, I mean, it turns it into a absurd amount of money that's coming off of your return. So I think it's important for people to reduce the fees that they're paying and be very aware of the opportunities to either pay no commissions or small commissions for quality advice. It's a better way to go.
But let's say I'm a doctor or a lawyer. I know nothing about the stock market, and most of them don't, because we've all met these guys. They did well in school, but as a doctor or a lawyer, but as far as the stock market goes or the real estate market, any of those things, they're neophytes. They don't know what they're doing. So are you suggesting that they just trade on themselves, or what would they do? Would they hire a financial planner, or what do you suggest they do?
I think if I'm one of those guys, I would find a financial advisor, and I would have that financial advisor charge me commission rather than flat fee on everything forever and ever and ever. So if I go to a financial advisor whose opinions I appreciate, I'm more than happy to, mathematically speaking, I'm better off paying full commission than I am paying one.
Because like I said, 74 was the year I got out of the Marine Corps. And that was the same year that the ERISA, which now is the 401k, came out. And in 74, I'm coming out of the Marine Corps, and all these people are rushing in to become this new profession called financial planner. And so I was in downtown Honolulu at the time, and they would have these huge meetings, they'd say, become a financial planner. So I'd go to the meetings, and most of the people at the meetings were school teachers, trying to moonlight, get some extra money and all this stuff here. And that's when I found out it only took them a few months to get a financial planner's license, where it took a hairdresser a lot longer time to get a license. And I couldn't believe what they're advising people to do. It was such a bad industry. So when I looked into it, I also found out that the way a lot of the financial advisors made money, this was back then, I don't know if it is today, was they sold life insurance. Is that whole life insurance? Is that still true today, Ron? Or
Really good life insurance is extremely time consuming on the part of the advisor and the agent that's doing it. So I've done, of any transaction that I've ever done that was the most bulletproof, absolutely best thing that I could do for the customer, it was usually a cash value life insurance, like what you're describing there. But to implement those things takes months and months and months of very, very hard work. And most financial advisors don't touch them because it's money out of their 1.5% annual fee. And they take months and months and months to put together. But at the end of the day, yeah, the customer on those life insurance is probably going to do really, really well compared to put money in the S&P 500, pay 1.5% in fees, and then probably another 2 points off of that in taxes. Best case scenario, everything's long-term capital gains. It's not going to happen, but mathematically, take the historical rate of return on the S&P 500 minus fees minus taxes. You're better off in life insurance.
is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay, when we come back, I'm going to ask more on this. It's because, like I said, Ron's been my friend for all these years, and he's always telling me things. I'm going, so I want to invite him onto the Rich Dad Radio Show so he could share what he knew, because I don't know anything about this world. I don't have a 401k. I don't have stocks. I have my own retirement plan. I retired years and years ago on real estate. That was the difference. And I'm still being paid by that real estate. I don't pay any more commissions on it. So we come back, we're going to find out from Ron why it takes so long to sell somebody life insurance. We'll be right back.
Have you heard about the expanding influence of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, and its potential to severely impact the US dollar by possibly creating a new world currency? Even JP Morgan said, and I'm paraphrasing, the impact of BRICS would most likely be felt here in the US, where moving away from the dollar would cause our financial assets like our IRAs and 401ks to lose value. We agree with JP Morgan and many others. Now's the time to position yourself for stability, security, and wealth protection. So take it from Robert and me, whether you're a seasoned investor or just starting, we believe that gold should be a part of everyone's portfolio. Seize the opportunity to ensure your financial future with gold and do it with one of the best in the industry, Allegiance Gold. Allegiance Gold has done things right from the beginning, having earned 5 stars with TrustLink and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Allegiance Gold can help protect your IRA or 401k with physical gold and silver, or you can have it delivered securely to your doorstep. Get up to $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying investment when you visit protectwithrobert.com today. Or you can call 844-3-ROBERT. That's 844-3-ROBERT. Robert sounded the alarm in 2023, and his warnings came true. Unfortunately for many, it was a year of lost wealth, but it was the complete opposite for the billionaire class. Now the wealthiest 10% of Americans own over 92% of all U.S. stocks. But here's the good news. You can invest just as these billionaires did. Robert has said, if you want to be rich, do what the rich do. So you can diversify across the asset classes with what are called low correlation alternative assets. For example, fine art as a tangible asset that rarely ever changes hands, the fine art market is more resistant to traditional volatility. So the fine art component of these billionaires' portfolios are at less risk. And now you can add the same blue chip art to your portfolio from the comfort of your own home. You don't have to be an art expert to do so. Masterworks, our longtime sponsor, has an art investing platform with over 880,000 people on board and nearly $1 billion in assets under management. From their successful art sales, they have consistently delivered a profit to their investors, and you can even go check their numbers. Our viewers can skip Masterworks' waitlist by using the link in the description below. Hi everyone, I'm Kim Kiyosaki. Thank you for being with us today. As CEO and co-founder of the Rich Dad Company, I can assure you, Robert and I are both dedicated to our Rich Dad mission to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. And you are the humanity. We truly want you to succeed. When you succeed, we all succeed, and our mission grows stronger. With that in mind, I'm excited to extend a personal invitation to you to elevate your financial well-being by attending our exclusive free online wealth building event hosted by Robert. You'll learn what to focus on first to start increasing your cash flow immediately. You can reserve your seat right now by going to richdadonline.com. Just go to richdadonline.com. The event is 100% free and will help you achieve your financial goals.
Welcome back, Robert Kiyosaki, the Rich Dad Radio Show. Today, our special guest is Ron Willoughby. He's a longtime friend, and he comes from the inside of the financial services industry, also called financial planners. And I've been at a sometimes not silent war, but I had a partner in the Rich Dad Company, and she wanted to put everybody in a 401k, and I went nuts. And of course, she's a CPA. Her husband was an attorney, and they don't know jack. You know, you may be an accountant, you might be an attorney, but you don't know anything about investing. And she says, I'm going to put all of our employees into a 401k full with mutual funds. And I went psycho on her, and then we split our company apart. But so that when I meet Ron, Ron comes from that industry, and he's better able to explain why I didn't trust the financial services industry, financial planners, and what Wall Street is teaching people. So as I was talking about before I went to break, many financial planners sell life insurance, as whole life and term, I guess. So my question to Ron was, why does it take so long for a financial planner, even if it was lucrative, to sell a life insurance policy? What took the time?
It's underwriting. It's getting the client to get medical records from the doctors. It's very time consuming to do this because in most of these cases, there's multiple millions of dollars worth of life insurance, and these are permanent life insurance policies. They are going to get paid. So when you compare a term life policy where 95% of these things never get paid out, they usually they term out, or they just the customer stops making the payments. Those don't get paid out, but on the whole life, they almost always get paid out. So the underwriting process is extremely stringent, and that underwriting process takes months and months and months on multi-million dollar cases. So a financial advisor, where they're going to have a commission there that might be $20 or $30 or $40,000, they take that and they think about this as a 6-month process. They don't like it that much. It sounds like it might be good, but the firms, they would rather have that financial advisor go find more money, go plug it in at 1.5%. Spend your time going to find more money at 1.5%. Don't worry about the life insurance. But if you think of it, the way I look at it is, if a person puts money in the S&P 500, long-term rate of returns can be less than 10. Let's call it 9%. 9% minus the 1.5 puts them at 7.5, and then 7.5 minus taxes, they're probably going to be right around 6%. Whole life's going to do better than 6%, and you're definitely going to die. So you're either making 6 or you're making the death benefit, and the death benefit is typically multi-double digits. So if you look at it and you compare them apples to oranges, it boils down to what can you qualify for, and if you can qualify for, if you're in decent health, and they'll let you put some money in there, you should probably take a good look at it and consider it. Math from a 6% or 8%, the life insurance is going to pay more.
So let's say you're a doctor or a lawyer or a young person today getting started. Ron, would you hire a financial planner, or what would you do?
I would definitely hire a financial advisor, a financial planner, and I would make sure that I put all of the options out there in front of them. Show me fee-based, show me commission-based, and you better sure as hell show me my life insurance options. As a doctor, when I put money into an insurance policy, it's indemnified from creditors. I mean, it's tax-free, it's got a death benefit, indemnified from creditors. So in most states, when I put that money into that thing and I get sued or whatever happens to me at some point, that money's off the table. I've never shown one of these things to a doctor that didn't say, absolutely, how much can I get? It really boils down to how much can I put in there?
Because the doctor's always afraid of malpractice and all that.
Yeah, if you're an anesthesiologist and you look at one of these things, you'd never ever not buy it. It's just a matter of how much am I going to be able to put in there? You have to qualify. You have to have an insurable interest. You have to have a business practice that merits that you're going to put X number of millions of dollars into one of these policies. So what you can qualify for is usually what they're trying to consider. And I personally think you take, how much the person's net worth is, and, some part of it should probably be in there.
So if I'm a young person, just got out of school, married with 2 kids, what would you recommend they do? I mean, I wouldn't talk to a financial planner, but I don't have to. But most people do.
Well, if your financial advisor or financial planner has all options available, I always think that, going back to your very first, points, is you need to look at hard assets, and you look at real estate and the value of the leverage, and have a long-term perspective on those things and the cash flow that's going to come from it. And consider that financial planner. Is he going to beat up on real estate? Is he going to understand the value of that? Is he going to, be able to help me with real estate? I mean, there's a lot of financial planners and financial advisors out there that are more than happy to work with a qualified person that's trying to buy real estate and use that leverage for an income portfolio. You just need to make sure that your financial advisor or financial planner doesn't have they're not looking through they need to have a wide lens, and they need to have a lot of options in front of them.
Well, this is what happened to me personally. Was years and years. I mean, I retired. I was 47. Kim was 37. And we had income coming in for the rest of our lives due to our real estate. And this highfalutin financial advisor, attorney guy, downtown Phoenix here, called us in. And they brought in this guy from Washington, D.C. The guy had the wingtip, not the wing, but, he had the tricky glasses on. He looked like he went to Harvard or Yale or something. And he looked at our finances, and he says, "You guys are too heavy real estate." I said, "How can we be too heavy for real estate? All of it's income produced. You can have a lot of real estate that's non-producing. Like most people's houses are not producing income. But we owned apartment houses and commercial buildings, and we're producing income." He says, "My recommendation is you sell all your income producing real estate and put it into stocks." And I started laughing, but they weren't laughing. I mean, they were serious about it. And then I realized they don't make any money from income producing real estate. Right. And this SOB was going to have me sell everything that we based our retirement on just so he could make a commission on stocks. Wow. Is that SOP, standard operating procedure, or what?
It's pretty close to it. If they're not going, they're going to tell you to sell anything that they're not making money on. And they don't screw around with the cash value life insurance because they don't get paid. They might get a big chunk. Might get a decent commission today, but they don't get to build that 1.5% for the next 20 years, right? So it costs them a lot of money to recommend cash value life insurance to the client. So that, it's time consuming and it costs them money. They're never ever going to bring it up to the customer, ever. The customer needs to find somebody that's an expert in that stuff.
Yeah, my best friend and I mean, the people we don't like are financial planners and real estate agents. Because they're commission based only.
So what with the realtor, what is the thing that you don't like about them that's similar to the financial advisor? Is it just the commission?
Well, my friends and I make millions off of income producing real estate, and these guys only make 6% commission. Do you know what I mean? They're not smart people. I mean, they may be academically smart and all this, but when it comes to real estate, and I mean, I'm in the $1 billion mark, and most of these realtors that they're looking for $1 million house so they can make a 3% commission or a 6% commission. Like, I just talked to a realtor yesterday. I couldn't believe how stupid she was. I mean, I had no fucking idea. I'm going, holy crap. She says, "I want to talk to you about listing your house." I said, her first question was, "How old is your air conditioning unit?" I said, "How do I know?" "How old's your roof?" I said, "How would I know?" I mean, they get so stuck in the minutia versus what's my motivation for if I was going to sell, where am I going to go next and all this. But when she wanted to know how old was my air conditioning unit, and yes, in Arizona, air conditioning units are important.
Go through them fast.
But that's all they can think about. They're not smart investors. They're commissioned salespeople.
They
that's
don't
good.
understand the leverage.
401k guy and financial planners. That's
Yeah.
my bitch, you know.
Yeah. Well, they don't understand the leverage like you do, and you've got that down. You've got the leverage aspect of real estate nailed. That's why that's why people listen to you.
Yeah, but I love real estate. And then, like I said, my first partner for Kim and myself, my wife, when she brought in this financial advisor, it told us to sell all of our real estate. I mean, I knew I was in trouble because I have an idiot as a partner. Of course, she's a CPA. You know what I mean? And they don't know shit.
Well, it's not just not knowing, but being particularly financially motivated not to know, right? They're motivated not to know these things. There's a lot of doctors out there that are very motivated not to know certain cures and treatments and therapies, and got to keep this person coming back and back and back and back. So they're not looking for the solutions all the time. Yeah, I mean, if the going back to your original question, I think that they need to have a person, a trusted advisor of some sort that has a very open mind and has a solid understanding of commission-based advice and fee-based advice. I would never pay strictly fee-based in perpetuity. Robert, imagine buying real estate. You're going to do a deal on a building, and they say, "Hey, Robert, we're not going to charge any commission on this thing. We're just going to charge you 1 point per year in perpetuity." I mean, you'd probably smack them. I mean, it's so stupid. It's so absurd. But somehow these companies have convinced the population to pay 1.5% forever. It just blows my mind. And commissions are bad. Charge me 2%. Charge me 2% on my Apple that I own for 20 years. Why would I care? Charge me 4%. I don't care. But if it's a good stock and you're going to own it for 20 years, pay the commission. And if you're buying an index fund, obviously you're going to own it for a really long time. People that pay a flat fee ongoing for index funds, it just blows my mind. Blows my mind.
So we're going out of time. What advice would you say to people who are now wondering if they're getting good advice or not? Is there a way you can test your advisors? Like when I talked to that realtor yesterday, and all she said was, "How old's your air conditioner?" I'm going, I said, well, the air conditioner is expensive, but it's not the most expensive thing of a property. And when I talk to financial planners, like I don't talk to them anymore because I got sick and tired of it. They wanted me to sell all my real estate so they could make a commission off of me. That's all I needed to know. What advice would you give a person looking for an advisor, either real estate or stocks?
Get an illustration on some type of whole life insurance policy. Know what the rate of return potential is there on an after fee, after tax basis. Know what that number is. And that number is going to be probably 6, 7, 8%. And then juxtapose that with a conversation with that financial advisor and ask that financial advisor, what do you think about cash value life insurance? And if the financial advisor says, I don't like it, ask them why they don't like it. They're probably not going to have a good reason, and it's probably because they don't know what it is. And they don't know what it is because the firm that they work for has never put it in front of them because the firm doesn't want them promoting something that loses the firm money over time.
So, Ron,
that's it.
I'm glad you're my friend because I see you at the gym and all this. I can just ask you questions. And I think that's one of the best things about your friends. If you have stupid friends, you're probably poor. And if you have smart friends, you're probably rich.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
I'm glad to call you a friend. And, thanks for coming on the Rich Dad Radio Show to share your years of experience from the inside of Wall Street into the world.
Absolutely. I appreciate you having me on. Happy birthday again. And looking forward to grabbing a drink with you, okay?
All right. We'll do it soon.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks very much. And we'll be right back for the final word. Thank you very much. Welcome back, and a thank to Ron Willoughby. He's a friend of mine. We work out together at the gym down the street here. And like I said, I can talk to him. One of the best advice I can give people is find people like Ron or my other friends who are like Ken McElroy on real estate. They're priceless if they know what they're talking about, because there's so much bad financial advice out there. This is my book here, Rich Dad's Prophecy. I think it came around 2012. It was after 2008, and it said, why the biggest stock market crash is still coming. And I stand by this statement here is because I think we're right in the middle of the biggest stock market crash in history. But as the banks are going bad right now, the national debt of America is in the trillions, our derivatives debt's in the quadrillions, and America's in serious trouble. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Rich Dad Radio Show, but please, please, please find a financial advisor who knows what they're talking about and is more concerned about you than the commission they make from you. Thank you very much.
This podcast is a presentation of Rich Dad Media Network.